Hello again, all you beautiful minds and souls. Welcome to Letter to Self. I wanted to talk about actually an awesome weekend I had. But before I do that, I explained in a video previous to this one that I joined this Akashic Records course. And so I've been learning to tap myself into the information that comes from the Akashic Records. And one of the exercises that I've been doing here lately is actually going into a space through some exercises and then just allowing whatever comes in information to come in and jot that down. I've been doing that every morning for the past few months now, and some really cool things have been coming to me. So before I explain what I really actually want to talk about, which is actually my weekend, I want to read a couple of the excerpts that I got from the readings and the intel that came from Akashic Records. So here's one of the first ones. You are a precious being guided by spiritual instinct that becomes stronger and clearer every day. The conscious mind, in all its distractions, may not always notice or concern itself with higher knowledge, although all levels of mind are connected, being and giving you the capacity to think in higher vibrations, even when not recognized by the conscious mind. Continue to follow your guidance from your intuition. When this occurs, all forms of doubt will transmute and transcend beyond their dimensional understandings. Your light activates and is shared beyond conscious mind understandings. Trust in this when this appears unnoticeable. Growth is not always instantaneously noticed, felt, or integrated. Trust your process and continue the work at hand. Love always, guidance in the heart. And I wanted to share this because I really had an exciting weekend with some relatives that came into town, spent a couple of days with us that we hadn't seen in a couple of decades. But on the surface of it, it just sounds like I'm talking about having a couple of dinners with friends and the conversations that we had. So on the surface, it doesn't appear to be much, but through the process of, like I spoke about in the last video, allowing myself not only to integrate a mind experience, but allowing myself to actually integrate this experience into my being during the weekend and after the fact. This was a very exciting weekend for me because it was really beginning to show me and reflect back to me the progress that I've made in the past 10, 15 years. And that's why I shared this excerpt from my Akashic Records with you first, because I'm kind of just going on the whim here, not knowing exactly how I'm going to express and give credit to the experience that I have. So we had friends of the family, or we had family friends come into town in the past couple of days, and we hadn't seen them in a couple decades. Hadn't really spoke to them much in the past couple decades, but then they came, and when we sat and went to dinner, it was automatically this synergy that began to happen between the four of us. And I saw many similarities between them and their relationship and me and my relationship. For example, Tracy and his brother are both Caucasian, and both of us, their other halves, are um, Mexican. So there's this interracial relationship that's already going on in reflection of that. They've been together 30 some odd years. We've been together 30 some odd years. What was really cool in the past couple decades, when not really speaking much to each other at all, it was awesome to see that even though we were separated by thousands of miles, the work at hand, especially within the last 6 years during COVID, has really reflected one another. And so it gave us the opportunity throughout the weekend to go into rabbit holes, to talk about all the chaos that's going on in the world today and recognize where we are in the state of the world and notice that the state of the world right now seems very much fear-based with all the transition that's happening, with all of the chaos through politics and all that's happened before, then, and after with COVID, with everything that's happening in the world, going down all these rabbit holes. As I'm having this conversation with them, which was a very intriguing, a very exciting conversation to have, what came to me in the process of having the conversation was this is really a joy-filled experience for me because it's allowing me the opportunity to see that we are really beginning to wake up in this world. We're actually beginning to notice the world that we live in. And for me, it's kind of a joyful experience, even though a lot of the subjects that we're talking about are really negative, are really concerning. Where is this world going, so on and so forth. But it really has an understanding within myself that even having this conversation is part of this great awakening. I think in order to get to where I know that we're headed is going from, if you will, the third dimension into more of a fourth and a fifth dimensional understanding of things so that we can integrate our spirits into our bodies and from there share that information out into the world. That's going to come with this cooperation, the synergy that I'm actually experiencing now in the moment throughout this weekend between individuals that I haven't seen in 20 years. That part of the experience that I'm having, even though we're talking about dark subjects, I'm able to see from a higher perspective and recognize that all of this process is meant to happen. It's meant to happen and unfold exactly the way it's unfolding. And that was really, really exciting to me because prior to them coming, I didn't quite know what the experience was going to be because we hadn't spoken in so long. But being able to integrate and understand all that I've been able to understand within the last 20 years, the whole experience was like magic for me. It was like a reflection of not only where I've come from, but how far I've come just in the midst of the conversation between the four of us. The following morning, I woke up from the experience and I was just so excited and talked to my partner about all of the things and all of the connections that we made. And again, with my exercises in the morning, I went and I did my exercises, went through my Akashic understandings, allowed them to flow in, and wrote down again what came from that understanding. I wanted to be able to share that with you too. So it is me, Joseph Arnold Smith, who speaks from my heart with gratitude for the great fellowship and connection created and recreated within the last few days, bringing the past into the present with a synergy that I have never experienced before. A presence and knowing all was meant to be to recreate this connection of souls back together from a self built integrity within all of us, giving us the capacity to share our knowledge within such a way that led to a knowing we have always been headed for this time and experience together, the time we had, the time we will have, and the time we will continue to have in this great awakening of self as individuals and collectively. Thank you, Holy Spirit, God, universe, all that is above, for bringing back together this knowing in this happening. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I wanted to share that too, because sometimes on the surface, even if it's a really fun, joyful experience like this weekend was, I am recognizing that there are deeper and deeper understandings to be had when it comes to our experiences on this planet. And I wanted to just be able to share that bit of light with you, share that bit of information with you, and let you know that although things seem really stressful in the world today, and from a certain degree they are, at the same point in time, humanity is beginning to wake up in such a way that I've never experienced before. And I know that even though there's good days and there's bad days, the wonder it is to be able to live in 2026 is just amazing to me, especially knowing that from a soul's perspective, we all chose to be here, share our light, share our love, share our understanding so that we can do whatever it is we feel necessary in this world to get us from this transitional stage into a more fifth dimensional understanding, to go from all of this chaos and this transition that's happening in the world. Because right now, what it looks like is the fall of society. And from one perspective, that is in all actuality happening. But from another perspective, from another vibration, a higher vibration, we're learning to come back to ourselves. We're learning to come back to our knowing. We're learning to integrate this thing called love, not only for others, but for ourselves. I think that's one of been the magical experiences for me, is to learn to love and express myself from that place, from my heart, so that I'm able to connect with others on a deeper level. And I think that's what happened this weekend, is I was allowed to share and express that part of myself so that others were comfortable to share and express that part of themselves. And so the synergy and the communication and the love that happened in just conversation from this experience was amazing. Whether we are conscious or unconscious of the energies that we put out in the world, or whether we're conscious or even unconscious about the growth that we're having within ourselves and giving ourselves the capacity to share with the world, remember that even on any given day, in any given moment, you have the capacity. And just for the mere fact of being here and sharing energy, you are doing your work. One of the beautiful things that we spoke about in the conversation, because I can get kind of woo, I can talk about spirituality, I can talk about the power of thought, I talk about metaphysics, all of the woo woo kind of conversations. But a lot of the conversation, again, was about all of the rabbit holes that we can go down nowadays and all of the chaos that's happening in this world. And so, me being more of that metaphysically based individual in the conversation, I was able to really recognize the souls and the understandings and the creative abilities coming out in the conversations of the others around me. And there was one that I wanted to share with you because I just found it so beautiful, because to him, he has his bees and he's just helping the bees create honey, which to me is absolutely beautiful. And his honey is absolutely delicious, by the way. He, on his property, has many forms of pollen throughout his property, so that when the bees collect their pollen and come and create the honey, it comes from more than just one source. So it's not just clover honey or this honey or that honey. It's a mix of pollen that creates the honey that he offers, which again I believe is absolutely delicious. But when he was sharing this about, you could see the excitement. You could hear the passion in his voice, because what's coming to him is he really wants to be able to create honey in such a way that it's medicinal, so that having particular blooms, particular herbs out in his property, so that he has the ability to not only make honey taste delicious, but it has medicinal purposes as well. For example, if he has honey that comes from lavender, you can take the qualities of lavender like you do in a tincture and offer that medicinal purpose within the honey itself. And I just thought, when he was expressing himself, I was like, oh, look, there is that fifth dimensional understanding. I'm not sure that he would see it from that perspective, that he's having a fifth dimensional understanding, but my vibration and all that I was able to share and connect or see and connect with in that moment told me, wow, he's really headed in the same direction that we are. And so this weekend gave me so much hope, just in the mere presence of having people over for the last couple of days. So I just wanted to share that with you, so that you begin to maybe pay more attention to your day. Pay attention to those situations, those experiences, those communications that you have with one another, and allow yourself to not only appreciate them and come from gratitude, but experience them in such a way that you allow yourself to really integrate that experience, so that that experience, that connection, that what have you, becomes something deeper to you, becomes more of your permanent understanding, becomes a greater part of that building that self-love within your soul. So I just want to take a moment and share that experience with you. Light and love to you all, and see you all in the next video. Thank you.